Welcome back. We're actually back with more stuff on VI. I'm hoping that by now you're comfortable with a lot of the commands that we've seen so far. Make sure that you can understand how CD works, LS, excuse me, some of the options of LS minus L, minus R, uppercase R and lowercase r. LS minus A should definitely make sense. So if not, try to review some of the earlier videos. Excuse me. So in this set of videos, I'm going to look at the VI editor. It says last look. Basically, we're going to use VI from now on. But this is I think the last chapter where we will look specifically at VI. After this, we just assume that you know how to use VI, and I just say, go and edit this file, and you want to make sure that you can change files, because we will be using VI to write shell scripts and C programs and change data files, things like that. Okay. So the discussion of VI began in chapter 4 of the book and continues in this chapter. And in this chapter we will look at some of the more powerful commands, more advanced commands. This chapter explains the command scopes and their usage in combination with other commands, and looks at the VI editor's manipulation of temporary buffers. These are really powerful ways of using VI. Okay, the VI editor is actually part of the EX family of editors. We saw that there is an EX command. It's not one that you want to use. It's been years since I've used it, and I wouldn't know how to use the EX editor. VI is the screen-oriented part of the EX editor, and so it's a lot better to use. A lot of people will go beyond VI and then use things like Emacs, which is even more powerful. Okay, we saw how we can start the VI editor without a file name, and in this case, once you're done editing, you can use :W to write to a file, or :W quit. I'm sorry, :WQ to write and then quit. So by now you should be comfortable just typing in VI, the command line, and then pressing return. This starts up VI without a file name. You can type :W file name to save all your changes to a file, or if you don't make any changes, you can save an empty file. That's definitely a possibility. Okay, so all of these should be familiar. You can also use VI with the -R for read-only option, or this is the same as typing in view. View is just VI space -R. Okay, for read-only. To save, if you try to save a read-only file using :W, you get this message saying read-only option is set, and you can override this using the exclamation. This is also referred to as the bang operator. Some people will say that instead of saying exclamation, will say bang. Mostly Unix people will say bang, and I usually just say exclamation. Excuse me. Okay, so you can use either view, VIEW, or VI-R. It's pretty much the same thing. Use that to look at files and move around in them. You can actually execute commands on the command line. You can execute VI commands on the command line. So for example, the way you do that is you say VI space -C. So this is going to start up VI, execute this command /most. Remember, the / is the forward search. So this will execute the search for this word most, and in this file myFirst. So the effect of doing this one command is to start up VI and open this file and execute this command that is forward search for the word most. So if you, for example, know that there is the word most in this file, it'll open up the file and position you right on the line, and then this is the starting point of the line where you find the first occurrence of whatever you're searching for, in this case the word most. So you can do this, you can do all kinds of commands, you can just add things right away as soon as you open a file by using the -C option. You can also edit multiple files. You can edit file 1 and file 2 by saying vi file 1, file 2, return. And you can skip between them by pressing :n. So let's just try that out. So here we are, we set up some files, and we can run vi on these two files, this backup file and the XYZ file that we have been editing. Okay, so it's the first file that it displays. You might wonder, well, what happened to the other file? You can still get to it by hitting colon. I'm going to hit colon and N and hit return. And now I switch to the other file. So it's like you have two files in buffers there. That's what they're called in VI. And you can switch the buffers. So you try :n again, it cannot go beyond the last file. So I think if you had to... Okay, so when I say :AR, it lists all the files. It says, okay, here's one file, and this is the one that I believe I'm editing right now. Okay. So you can edit multiple files. You can save one of them by :W. Remember, W is right. This will save whatever file you're currently editing. You can type :AR, and it displays the names of all the files that you've opened VI with. Okay, so :AR. If you type in :n and there are no more files to edit, to open up, it says no more files to edit. So you can use :n to open the next file, but there's no way to go back and open the previous file. And if you type :n before saving your changes in the current file, you'll get if you make a change and you say :n, you'll get this message saying no writes since the last change. So you use the exclamation, that is :n exclamation, and you override it and you just move on to the next file. Okay, so let's say you are in an editor already and you want to edit another file. You can use the :E option. So let's say you type VI and press return. That means you haven't specified a file name. Now you can start editing an existing file by saying :E, or you can actually use a :R too to read in an existing file into your current quote-unquote buffer. So let's quit out of here and say VI. Let me just clear this to okay, and then you say VI, enter, right? So now you can say :E XYZ, and there you are. Now you're in the mode of editing this XYZ file. So let's quit out of this. You can make your changes and save them and all that. So I'm just going to quit. Let's try this again. Say VI, enter. You can now, for example, just like you did with :E, you can :R XYZ. And now you're editing the XYZ file. The difference is that you got this extra line because you read in a file after that one line. So let's see what happens if you do a :W at this point. At this point it says, when you say :W, it doesn't actually save to XYZ because it knows that it read in XYZ, but it's reading it into supposedly a brand new file. and you haven't specified a name, so you have to say :w xyz plus. This is a new file. Alright, so in this, you get the new, you get this thing saying it's new, and it's 13 lines as opposed to 12 lines in xyz. Okay. And I can quit out of that, do an ls, and I can see xyz and xyz plus. If I do an ls minus l, you can see, excuse me, that xyz has size 221, and xyz plus has the size 222. There's one more character, that's that line at the top of xyz plus. Okay. So there's your :r, and you want to go over the notes, go over the chapter 6, and make sure you know the difference between :e and :r. You can, for example, write part of your current file into another file. So let's say : 5 through 100, or 5, 100, w, write to a file name temp. So this is going to save lines 5 through 100, including 5 and 100, to a file called temp. Okay, so try that out. These are all things I think be best if you would try it out. Okay, so we looked in chapter 4, we looked at dd to delete a line, dw to delete a word, x to delete a single character. There's a whole bunch of these delete commands and cut and paste. So this copy, delete, and p for paste are actually predate cut and paste in most files, most editors that you will see, like Microsoft Word and things like that. These were around a long time before Word even existed. And so they work a little differently. You have to be kind of, if you're used to cut and paste in Microsoft Word, you're used to Control-C, or if you're a Mac person, Command-C and Command-V. And if you're a Windows person, Control-C and Control-V. Those things sort of work. I wouldn't rely on them to work exactly as you expect them to. So if you're using VI, it's definitely better to get used to these commands: dd for a single line, and then that cuts it, that's the same as a cut, and then p, lowercase p, places whatever you cut below the current cursor position. Uppercase P will place the same contents above the current cursor position. So that's the difference between lowercase p and uppercase p. So D, anything like DD for a single line, or DW for a single word, cuts, and then you can paste it. You can also copy using the Y command. You can say YW, and Y because it yanks. So you yank a specific portion of a text into, just like you did with a cut, into a buffer, and then you can paste it. So the best thing to do at this point is actually to go into VI and try some of these things. Set up some text, and then use DD, DW, or YW to copy without deleting, without cutting, that is. So if you're used to cutting and pasting in things like Notepad or Microsoft Word, things work a little bit differently, so you want to be ready for those changes. Okay, so try out some of these different things that discuss in the book, and then we will start up again with this section 6.3.